How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel for Rooq Live, right here on the Sean Atwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. It's great to see everybody. It's been an interesting day. We had to go up to the doctors with little Nova. Everything's fine, but a bit of a stress. You know what I mean? It's always that way with the little ones. Hope everyone is having a good day. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming and joining me, spending some of your day with me. First of all, we're just gonna have a little chitty chat. We're going to just reconnect. It is Monday, right? It's Monday, right? We're going to reconnect. We've got the Sharmaic Priestess this evening, actually, probably right after this show. And you know, it's going to be awesome. I'm loving all of this diversified content we're putting out here. The awakened movement, all of that. I never honestly thought that meeting Beverly and Danny and Azria and all these people would have had any remote impact on my life. And it's been freaking awesome, right? I'm not going to lie. And tomorrow night, I may have this wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is tomorrow night. Danny was really kind and asked me if I would do an interview with her. About my life, and it was meant to be one part, but it's now two parts. So tomorrow night, after the cryptid show, I will be in the side chat for the premiere of my interview part one with Danny, and it was really good. Like, Danny is awesome. We're very much on the same wavelength with some of the things we're passionate about, and it was a lot of fun. It really was. So you'll notice as well, the thumbnail hasn't been updated for today. So tomorrow, before the show goes live, you'll see the thumbnail update with a bit more relevance to what we're talking about. But since, like I say, the emergency with the little one, I just not had time. So tomorrow, Danny Henderson interview is going to be awesome. Now, we need to check in with the diddler, but it's a mega day for Trump, right? Today's the big day, yeah? As stupid as that sounds, 1 second. But today was the big day, right? Okay. All right, we've got a bunch of people just singing away here. So I'm excited for 2025. I'm excited to see what is going to come from the political movement, from the Awaken movement, and I'm very excited to say also from our little community, because for me, 1 minute. What the hell have I done with this? Hang on a second. Just have to deal with it. For me, getting the Discord reopened, getting the community growing, and launching some new projects is really at the forefront of my mind right now. And I can't wait. I can't wait. See, Pascal, I seen somebody talking about Pascal, and you have to excuse me. Hello, Ron. Did you see Pascal and Nerd Report stream got shut down? Pascal was shut down 3 times. No, I don't know if I know who Pascal is. Do I know who Pascal is? Is he that quirky looking dude with the lemons? Or is that a different Pascal? I can't remember. I don't know if I know who that is, but it wouldn't surprise me. What were they streaming? What were they streaming? Like, was it controversial? What was it? What was the tone of their live stream? Or was it Trump stuff? Like, you let me know. You let me know. We'll get started. Paul, nah, don't know who that is. Nah, okay, I'll look into it though. I'll look into it 100%. Because there's been a lot of weird live stream shenanigans going on. I'm not going to lie. They were streaming the okay, all right. Well, we'll maybe just turn this off. But you know, I'm not from the US. I'm sure a lot of you aren't from the US. Some of you are, I'm sure. And for me, without going too much into the politics of it all, I always sort of am happy when I feel like the evil overlords may not be winning this time round. Also, there's something going on with my chair where I keep lowering down. It's Amazon is basically wish.com at this point. I just want to point that out. Amazon, all right. But I just want to say to you all how much I appreciate you guys. And let's jump into some. I need to have a look at some Diddy news, right? Because it was something about Tupac. And I would say, out of all of the people in the Diddy sphere, the only ones that I can legitimately say I've ever been fans of have been Tupac and Biggie. Like I like the old school rap. I've never been a massive, apart from angry white boy rap. I'm into the modern angry white boy rap. Okay, so give me a like, give me a share, give me some help here. I'd appreciate it. Tupac Shakur, suspect claims Diddy offered millions to have rapper ended. Interesting. Diddy has been accused of offering millions to have Tupac Shakur unalived. Previously unheard police interview has seen a disgraced music mogul named 47 times in relation to the unaliving of Shakur, who was gunned down in LA, Vegas on September 13th, 1996. I mean, yeah, that's one way of putting it. Another way of putting it was gunned down outside a Mike Tyson fight on the Vegas Strip as the crowd was leaving, right? How was there no witnesses? His murder, his unaliving has always remained a mystery, has it though? With many people linked to the case. However, law enforcement have previously stated that Diddy has never been a suspect. I wonder why. I mean, we're talking about a man who took a pew-pew into a nightclub and pewed Natanya, in the face. Pew, right? In front of people in a nightclub. Nothing happened, right? So why would we ever assume that anything would ever be? I need to fix this chair. I do apologize, everybody. Like, this is madness. Like, just okay. So I do apologize. I need to put the desk up as well. Hang on. All right, there we go. Nice. That's a bit high. All right. I would just say to anyone who has ever considered investing in a standing sitting desk, this one I think was like $110, 80 centimeters by I think 60 or 70 centimeters in size, tiny little thing, takes a 34 or 36-inch curve monitor, and I cannot wait. I'm going to get a new mic, a handheld mic, so that there's sometimes when I want to stand up and rant, we can stand up and rant. Put it into rant mode. He was previously denied the allegations. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis has since been accused of the unaliving and is currently behind bars while awaiting trial. Davis had filed the case against him to be dismissed, but prosecutors have since hit back with a 180-page filing, claiming that he had previously confessed to being involved in the unaliving of Tupac. Why is there so much like cover-up and shenanigans with the Tupac case? Corruption, Ron. Corruption. Okay. The transcripts of Davis' confession were secretly recorded in a 2009 Las Vegas police interview, was used in the filing, during which he shed light on the allegations surrounding the unaliving. Diddy, who is currently behind bars on charges of this and all of this horrible stuff, all of which he denies, was a topic in the lawsuit and previously unheard police video. See, I think they should just be. I think they should just be slapping this in here. Like, we need answers for the whole Tupac case. You know, it's like one of those situations. Like, do you know the guy out in Germany, Christian something or other, that was accused of doing all those things with Madeleine McCann, even though he's currently serving a sentence for R-wording, right? It's now been announced that when he is released, he will face no charges in the McCann case. Was it not solid evidence? Were we not convinced that jobs and people's actual careers that were built around this were actually going to deliver? Because I feel like it was, am I right or wrong? Because I kind of feel like it went like this, right? bad German man, Madeleine McCann, right? Undeniable evidence, but oh no, he's already serving time. So everyone can rest assured, don't worry. And now he's getting up to released. Like, how is there nothing? How have we gone from that level to nothing? It blows my mind. It really blows my mind. Right, give me 1 second. I just need to check something very quickly. Because I think I have forgotten to do something which may explain everything. YouTube's got this great thing. Okay, right, nice one. Okay, I need to just double check another thing as well, everyone. I do apologize. I can't remember. Okay, so 5 to 7:30. That's fine. Yeah, so Sean is live at 7:30 tonight with your headlines and all the rest of it, just so you know. All right. Let me just teleport back to here. Got some really exciting announcements for you as well. I hit this. Okay, later here a minute. Okay. Davis claimed that Diddy didn't say say specific dollar about killing or unaliving Shug. Added he was scared of the music mogul. In the transcripts, it alleged that he spoke about Diddy's issues with Shakur following the 1996 diss track "Hit Him Up," in which Shakur took aim at Diddy, Notorious B.I.G., and a string of other rappers. I mean, let's be honest, that is the definition of the most legendary diss track in the world. Mr. UK Mogul. Well, it's funny you should say that. Once we get to the end of this, I'll tell you what's coming for you lovely people. The transcript which is now being used as evidence against Brilliant. Yes. When they said F that dude when he asked about Tupac recalling his reaction to Diddy being unalive, Davis said we was like, damn, we can get paid now, and asked if the source of the payment was Diddy. He responded, yeah. Whoa. That's pretty damning. I mean, is it if it's all true, obviously the source, I mean, it seems pretty damning to me. However, Diddy has never been a suspect of the unaliving of Tupac. The public information officer. Yeah, but Diddy's never been a suspect in the flipping shooting in the face of Netanya. We've got to keep this in perspective, right? If that poor lady can be standing in a nightclub living her life, and allegedly that man just pews. I'm telling you, man, there'll have been a lot of cars and mortgages paid off for witnesses in that club that night. It still doesn't make any sense. So, however, Diddy has never been yeah, okay. Public information officer from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department told people in July 24, 24, Sean Combs has never been considered a suspect in the Tupac Shakur shenanigans. Meanwhile, law enforcement has told TMZ that Diddy is not a suspect in the crime. Diddy has also publicly denied the claims. 2011, he told LA Weekly, "This story is pure fiction and completely ridiculous." Well, what do you guys think? I mean, in the whole conspiracy of did Diddy have anything to do with Tupac, Biggie? I mean, it stinks. The whole situation stinks. But the thing that's more stinky for me in the Diddy saga now is just how well that documentary that came out about making of a bad boy, just how well that hit home. The facts about how many people have been unalived that were around Diddy from the start. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Because that was shocking to me. It really was. Now, as far as what did somebody ask? Somebody asked me something. Okay, our UK mogul, that was the one. So many years ago, Ron done some things on the internet where he went after certain types of people and held them accountable for the rules that they didn't think applied towards them and children, right? And I'm very pleased to say that on the way back is a new podcast, Educate, Infiltrate, Liberate, Surviving Life, the podcast. It is coming. It's going to be Friday nights after Friendly Fire, taking us right up to midnight. And we have to address things in a very smart manner. And we have to do things in a way that is very different from how we did it before. But I'm very excited to present it all because sometimes we have to take the most terrifying situations that we're reporting on and make them palatable, okay? Because I learned a lot years ago from how content like this can be portrayed, all right? And my website is going to be the place where you're going to see the traditional form of information dumping and exposing, shall I say, of these horrible people. But as far as YouTube goes, I want to present things in a way that keeps everyone in the community safe and directs any attention towards me and the website, right? So there's some AI that's involved in this new podcast. If any of you were ever around for the dark bot era, there's some elements of that coming back. I'm hoping, and I mean hoping, that what I got DM'd today is my co-host for this touching base after I thought, I don't know what I thought, but when you can't get a hold of someone for like 12 days, you get a bit worried. So I'm going to speak to them and that'll be the next announcement. I'm aiming for Friday, but now I'm saying it out loud. It's probably going to be a week on Friday because I really want to get it drilled home that this is going to be happening. And you're going to see things explained from pre-recorded interviews, live interviews. If my co-host is still part of this, you're going to have a whole new dynamic. Not so much Darkbot, James. Starling's the one that's going to be the AI-driven side. Starling's going to be looking at one of our pre-recorded segments of the podcast where we're diving into reports from around the world of cases that have been closed, baddies that have been caught, all that kind of stuff. And there should be a balance of real world and online investigations that are displayed in a way that hasn't ever been displayed in this way before. Because, like I say, it's about creating palatable, educational podcasts. Now, had with this will be the relaunching of the Discord and the Patreon. The Discord will be after the podcast is ended on the internet, right? Obviously. There will then be the last part of the podcast on Discord, where I've not quite figured out how to do it yet, but you set up, it's like a massive group call or something, or a way of setting up the VCs so that no one can talk, you can only hear, and you're seeing my screen effectively. That is where you will get how we used to do the podcasts, how we used to deliver information in a sort of compacted little way. And yeah, I can't wait. And I'm really excited. I've done a lot of testing on how to talk and the algorithm and things we can say. And I'm excited. And the website will have a full breakdown of terminology, like PDF file, GGs, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it'll be a bit of a pain in the bum, right? And it'll be a bit of a, oh, okay, well, I've got to actually do some homework. Oh, it'll be a bit like that. But you guys have got this. I've fully invested in you guys spreading the word and knowing what to do. And when the Discord reopens, I am sadly treating it like an actual village of people. So when it reopens, you'll all be filtered into Ron's little holding pen, shall we say, and then we'll go through how you can gain full access, and all of that will be explained. Excited, guys. Excited. Right. So, next thing. Okay, 1 second. Let's have a look at some Jay-Z shenanigans. Actually, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. That's the one. This one. Yeah. All right. This one's a bit mad. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the news that's pretty positive about Jay-Z. That's popping up. But this one's a bit mad, right? MIA's accusations regarding the character and business dealings of Jay-Z continues. The singer now alleges that the mogul attempted to force her to sign this here deal regarding her infamous appearance at the Super Bowl halftime show. I mean, I don't know, what is the L? What is that? That's 10, that's 5, that's 1, right? What is this? Is that 10? Yeah, okay, anyway. During a conversation with Jaguar Wright on Instagram Live, MIA recalled Jay-Z and Rock Nation drawing up the alleged contract. Oh man, this is Nation drawing up an alleged contract. When is this from? This is like, it's like 4 days ago. I remember calling Nation drawing up an alleged contract in which the NFL would be entitled to all of her profits. Damn. I was fighting giants and nobody came to help me at the time. Jay-Z Rock Nation was supposed to negotiate that. They wanted me to sign this thing, which was this, the 49-year-old told Jaguar Wright at the point during the stream. It was modern day, this thing, where the NFL took 100% of my earnings. MIA also challenged Jay-Z's seeming fixation on black empowerment, arguing that his actions in the realm of business doesn't align with those sentiments. Oh, excuse me. Okay, L is 100. Thank you. Okay, I did not know that. So you can say hang on. So you can say you're for black power, and yet you're doing that. The hitmaker charged, quoting the teacher. The hitmaker charged. Oh, the hitmaker, like music maker. Okay, is that right? Quoting the teachings of iconic civil rights leader Malcolm X. Okay. Okay. Like how Malcolm X did say, if you sympathize with oppression anywhere, you sympathize with oppression everywhere. That is that is the absolute truth. You can be the oppressing force in one place and be the very thing that cries about oppression, making $1 billion in the next. In February 2012, MIA's appearance during the Madonna's headlining Super Bowl halftime show set caused controversy with MIA, was filmed purposely sticking up her middle finger during the nationally televised performance. Didn't sound good. The move was in violation of the agreement between the NFL, and the performances negatively impact the league's image or viewing experience, leading to the NHL filing a lawsuit against MLA shortly after. The lawsuit filed American Attribution Association initially sought 1.5 million in damages. However, the NFL added an additional 15 million to the whoa, damn. MIA would reach an undisclosed settlement. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's mad. Yeah, that is mad. Yeah, see when we hear stories, right, of words SLAVE and all this kind of stuff being thrown around, and then you hear that effectively the contract was 100% acquisition of all of her revenue. I wonder like, could you imagine, right? You're in Hollywood, you're male, you're female, whatever in this scenario, right? And you end up signing something. Can you imagine how many times somebody has signed something like this and then just been too embarrassed or ashamed or anything to even try and speak out about it? Because a lawyer is going to tell you, well, you shouldn't have signed it, right? It's scary. It's really scary. And do you know what else is weird? Total side quest. There's a guy who is called, what is his name? He's one of these little, Jesus, he's one of those little like broccoli head haircut guys. What the hell's his name? Anyway, he was on Dr. Phil for being a pain in the backside, and then he's gone on to be a streamer, and he has an OF management business, right? And I mean, the guy is making a fortune, but he's making these young, impressionable ladies sign these contracts where 75% of their earnings are going straight back into the business. Now, listen, if you're handed an opportunity where a company has invested, say, 100 million in a studio or technology or something like that, and as part of your deal, they are taking back a huge sum of money like that, but you're making tens and tens of millions, okay, from the use of their technology or their studio, I could argue why there would be such a heavy slice, right? But in this case, we're talking like 18, 19, 20-year-old girls, right? And the worst thing is, see, when we talk about a 17-year-old who's about to be 18, right? Do you know how impressionable that sort of person is? Social media, right? They get a little taste. Maybe their Instagram gets shared. Boom, 5K subs overnight, right? And then the next phase comes along of, oh, well, maybe if you done some pictures beside the pool on your Instagram, we'll share you again. And it's this breakdown and this sort of normalization of over sexualizing people, right? But from a business point of view, and the guy in charge of this is only just about to turn 21, just to put it in perspective, right? And he's going to build an empire off of this. And again, there's 100 reasons why this is wrong, and it frustrates me because they're trapped now. Even if they were to leave that business and go out on their own, they're still obligated 75%. Wild, right? Absolutely wild. And the guy's a total narcissist, like proper evil villain vibe in the making vibes, 100%. 100 million%. Now, what do you guys think? Before we get back into any more Didisphere stuff, what do you guys think about the content? For me, I'm really enjoying the Beverly stuff, the paranormal stuff, okay? And I've invested not a lot of money, but a chunk of money in some new paranormal gear for going out and doing some investigations. And I think Dan is past the 6-week sort of recovery point for where, she can't be in the house by herself or anything like that. Round about Valentine's Day, I think. So I was thinking February, why don't we do our first live paranormal investigation? And I'll live stream it all, and I'll go back to the place where I did my first investigation, where my equipment was thrown and all this kind of stuff. And we'll see if we can get anything happening again. We can see if we can get anything to engage with us and go from there. Now, Beverly and Danny have extended offers for this year to me, one of which is to go to the UFO event that they done last year. Again, It's not called that. It's got a really cool name. I'm just too stupid to remember stuff. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. And I think I'm not a big fan of taking people on ghost hunts, right? Or paranormal investigations. Because I often, like, for example, Dan is the scariest thing in the room when you're watching a scary movie, right? I get more jump scares from Dan than the movies give me jump scares. So Beverly Rhodes has extended her offer to go down, visit her, and maybe investigate some bits and bobs, because what better person, right? I also want to do some experimenting with the spirit box. Now, it's not my old spirit box, it's a new spirit box. I need to sort of become in tuned with it, shall we say. But with what everything that's been said about Beverly and energy and the transferring of energy and it living on within media and how I've compared it to modern spell books and all this kind of stuff, wouldn't it be interesting if we had a spirit box in Edinburgh, Scotland, where I am, over a live stream where psychic mediums and people like Beverly are channeling the energy of spirits to see if they can interact with the equipment at my end? Because I honestly don't feel like enough of us give credit to computer monitors and webcams. Like on the gross scale of what a portal sounds like, right? These are kind of nerd portals, maybe, I guess. They're certainly portals of information. So can we get that to interact with that? I don't know. But we're going to try. But I need to unbind some stuff from this house. So I need to decide exactly how I'm going to do that, because I've got a lot of technology here. So I could take the laptop out and we can use the spirit box from almost anywhere. A lot of people have been really bigging up. Oh, misinformation. I'm going to tell you a story, right? So Ron, Mr. Freaking Truth Seeker, all about the facts and the truths, right? So years ago, when I started doing the paranormal investigations, around about the time I'd done the one that you've all seen, I got quite friendly with a YouTube channel who will remain nameless, right? And they put out a video where they'd done a paranormal investigation where a bottle was basically picked up and thrown almost in the same fashion as my equipment was. And this all had happened. I'm pretty sure this happened before my video. I think it had, right? So I'm bigging this guy up. I'm going on live streams and going, look, this is it. This is the evidence we've all been looking for. I'll tell you in a minute. Nishiria, I'll tell you in a minute. Or one of the mods can. They can type it. And I was bigging this up. I was going on. I mean, I was totally sold on this being real. And then we all found out as a community that it was totally fake, right? And let's just now go to metaphorically speaking. I may or may not have gotten a bit upset, right? A series of events took place in the DMs over voice messages. And half an hour later, there was a live stream of this particular YouTuber and his girlfriend in a car leaving their house and city because they had concerns about what I had to say about this, because they made me look like a complete and utter blonde. Okay. And I was raging. And they decided that the best option to do would be to flee. And yeah, I cannot stand. Don't get me wrong. There's two ways of looking at this when it comes to fake paranormal content. If I start a YouTube channel that is called like paranormal events or something where at no point am I saying any of this is legit, and I'm not saying it's legit, but I'm not saying it's fake, and the whole thing was done as like I don't know, right? I don't know. right? Horror experience or something, maybe an ARG, something like that. Entertainment, I can understand, but never sell the entertainment as real, ever. Okay. But the Ouija brothers are the people who I respect 100% on YouTube. If you're looking for legit, will sit for hours and ham up nothing, those are your guys. They're legends. Legends, legends, legends. I've done investigations with them. They're awesome. Ron, what do you think about YouTube that claim to talk? Oh, right. So I've seen some mad things with spirit boxes. There's ones that guys built and they look old and wooden and have wires coming out, and it deletes the white noise and focuses on the voices, and they're really, really cool bits of kit, right? But maybe they're talking to celebrities. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it would have to be. See, I'm a big believer in giving everybody the opportunity to debunk everything I do in the paranormal. So if we were sitting doing like a spirit box session, I'd be doing it live. I'd break down all of the technology that's being used, all of the wires, what they do, so that everyone knew how the technology worked. And I feel like once you start hiding things away and making it more than just, I've got questions. And like, for example, so many people are talking about apps. Oh, you need to get this paranormal app. You need to get this paranormal app. Like, what? A paranormal what? So I've downloaded and paid for a bunch of them as well. So we're going to test them and go through a bunch of their stuff, a bunch of apps, because a bunch of you swear by them. And I've seen some videos of a madness. I've seen a friend of mine say, "Where are you?" while she was standing by a bench outside, and the app was like bench. Right? Okay. So we're gonna test all of that. But it's up to you guys to make the content work and want to see it. So I'm just letting you guys know. 1 second. Let me pull up some other bits here. So, not to sound totally stupid, right? But how did the whole Trump how did Trump Day go? Did everything go according to plan? Is it still happening right now? I'm watching the live situation, but has he been sworn in yet? Like, has the deed been done? He's looking very dapper. He's had a major hairdo, major haircut. My G. I don't want to show any of it in case we get shut down. Fine, Slenderman. Yes, debunk apps. Yeah, see, misinformation. See, for me, it's about intelligent response when it comes to the paranormal. Like, you know, a ping pong ball or a candle can be just as effective as anything else. So if we start getting intelligent responses from apps, that'll be interesting. You know what I'm saying? So if we say, "Can you tell us something that you see in this room?" and there's maybe a bed and a chair and a table, and the app goes table, right? That's going to be an interesting positive response, if that makes sense. And that's what we're looking for with these things. Now, cryptids is the next thing. We did our first episode last week with Matt, which was mind-blowing. If you didn't hear Matt's story, he experienced a werewolf, off-world being, dogman, whatever category you fall into, and gave us a breakdown of everything that happened to him. And he and his friends, it's completely different, but it gave me the movie and the book It vibes. It really did. Where this group of kids hanging out in a place where they shouldn't be, and then this freaking werewolf comes for them. It was unreal. And when you've got 4 people sharing, all of them sharing that experience, and sadly 2 of them are no longer with us because of the strain of this taking its toll over the years. AI makes it very interesting. Yeah, well, listen, here's the thing, Sue. I'm going to basically, when we're talking about stories that are horrible, we talk about everything's going to be told from the other realm, right? So we talk about innocence. We talk about the destruction of innocence and how it can tear rifts in us. We talk about the battle between good and evil. We talk about frequencies and things on other planes. So we're going to look at this from the perception of the other planes, okay? Where you have people that are looking to destroy innocence, and you've got people who are looking to save innocence. And we're going to look at it from that perspective, so that when you, for example, if I go and tell you a story about a nasty community that gets shut down, it'll be told in a way that talks about a village of people that are destroying countless amounts of innocence and how it was infiltrated. It'll be very easy to follow along with, but it's going to be done in a way that allows people to engage with that level of content, and see it from more of a detached perspective. Because YouTube in 2025, sadly, within the terms of service now, they don't even want, by the end of this year, they don't want channels being able to make money from going on stings or anything like this. So showing footage of stuff just ain't an option. Then there's the whole other side of the coin when it comes to exposing individuals. Obviously, it's not just my channel. So the way that exposés will be done, like I say, they'll be spoken about, and information will be put in places for people to find. And then you'll have information and video dumps that are the exposés, like I did them before, specifically on my channel, right? But the podcast will be on both. I've disappeared. Can you not see me? Have I disappeared again? Is the camera not working? This happened the other night, or Sue busted my chops. You can see you. All right, nice. And again, it's not going to be a massive thing, because it's a pain in the backside. But it'll allow us to talk about things and talk about missions and operations, past and present. But many of you have heard me for the last 2.5, 3 years talking about a series called Internet Horrors. The amount of work I've spent on that is unfathomable. So I'm now just mashing that all together. And the way that it will work is the interviews that have to be cut down for YouTube in 2025, they will be in full on Patreon, and they'll be on full on Discord and things like this, simply because the documentaries, however, right, they will be in full on my website. There won't be anything from there, but the extra content, the extended stuff, the unfiltered stuff, there's no point even pretending like I can put that on YouTube. So there'll be a lot of things coming, but education is one of the main points of this. So if you've been following me for years, the education side of this may be a bit dull to begin with, but that's all right. We can all have refresher courses and things like this. We'll also be looking into practical knowledge that you can learn for people that like to embrace technology. They don't want their kids shying away from technology, and they want to know the simple ways of keeping their kids safe. And there's so many pitfalls that you just don't think of as a parent. And we'll help you through some of them too. And I'm praying, man, like if the co-host is still game for this, these are all going to lose your freaking minds. I hope it all works out the way I want it to. I keep checking my phone. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Oh my God, sorry. That's Dan sending me pictures of Nova in her new bouncer chair. Yeah, no new messages yet. Yeah, so I think maybe there was something wrong with my co-host's phone or something that's happened. They've got in touch with the team, and now my number has been handed over. So I'm excited to see what comes from all of this. I really am. Now, you guys, as far as the new, shut up. Ron, Wendy Williams has been doing interviews. She's absolutely doesn't have dementia that they said she did. Free Wendy, please hashtag. But did she not get like Britney? What was the thing they did to Britney where they were like, geese everything, and then they just had everything? What was that called? Sutton Sherry and Snip. Oh, I've got a Sherry Snip. Sutton ship. Sutton conservatorship. Conservativeship. Sutton. Sutton. Did that not happen to Wendy Williams? Censorship, yeah. Conservatorship, right? Okay, yeah. So she got hit with a conservatorship. Wendy Williams. No. I need to move the chair. I need to move the cushion. Oh man, 3 years ago. Okay, let's just Google Wendy Williams because Wendy Williams. We stumbled across the Wendy Williams conspira facts on the Daily Show last year. Okay, 3 days ago, Wendy Williams hits back against guardianship. So we're kind of right. Wendy Williams. Sorry, everybody. I've got an absolutely like unnecessary pain in my knee. Wendy Williams hits back at guardianship attorney's claims and insists that she's never even met the lawyer. Wendy Williams hit back on guardianship attorney claims and insisted that she's never met the lawyer amid fierce fan backlash over her conservatorship. Oh, I freaking turned the camera off. I didn't mute the mic. Excuse me, everybody. Apologies. Sneezy boy. Wait, so the 60-year-old legendary chat show host took umbrage and guardianship attorney Roberta Kaplan's recent claims that she has good days and bad. What? Wendy Williams revealed to TMZ on Friday that the lawyer has no business commenting on her mental state as she's never even met the lawyer. She told the publication, "How would she know that? I never met Roberta Kaplan and never talked to her. I'm isolated and locked away in a luxury prison." Oh, so much for the meat. Whoa. DailyMail.com reached out to Wendy's representative for comment and is yet to hear back. Meanwhile, TMZ executive producer Harvey Levin revealed on the site that he had a 90-minute conversation with Williams on Friday and made the shocking claim that she did not show a hint of disability despite being diagnosed. Oh, this is a bit horrible, no? This is a bit horrible. And for those of you who don't know, as far as I'm concerned, Wendy Williams, we watched a video of a compilation of all the times where she'd verbally slapped Jay-Z and Beyonce. And it's just all a bit mad in America sometimes, right? I mean, I imagine this can happen anywhere in the world, but sometimes America just it scares me. 74. Damn, looking good. The 70-year-old television personality said in a TMZ video, "I can tell you that the Wendy Williams that I spoke to today is the same Wendy Williams that I knew 10 years ago. There is no difference. She was lucid, she was articulate, and she was with it, and she was opinionated." She went on to explain that he's not going to get into specifics of their lengthy conversation. When was the hell was this published? 2 days ago. It's been a long conversation. As it was off the record, but she wanted to give his personal evaluation of what he heard. This came just days after the Kaplan defended his decision to have her in a guardianship after the former talk show host pled for her freedom. After Williams called into the Breakfast Club radio show and insisted she is not got brain issues, her attorney and guardianship attorney stated otherwise per TMZ. She explained that Williams is dealing with frontal lobe dementia and emphasized that it is a neurological disease with no cure. Her attorney said that she is only representing Williams in her lawsuit against A&E for producing a documentary, Where is Wendy Williams? Also explained that the state court declared Williams is unable to make legal and financial decisions for her own. The attorney said, oh, this is mad. Her attorney said that she will require care for the rest of her life due to the degenerative nature of the disease. So you've got a platform, you've got money, you're in the mainstream. You start doing literally meme level comments on Jay-Z and Beyonce, maybe others too, maybe Diddy too. Then rather than pneumonia you, they go through the medical records and have you imprisoned. Because I'm telling you now, really nasty people understand that, sure, there's unaliving someone, right? But then there is this. You know, the sad. Do you know the really scary thing is? See if they've got certain substances that can extend human life. Imagine like you're no longer being on this planet is announced, and then someone injects you with something that lets you live for another 60 years, and they just throw you away in some dungeon. That is proper Black Mirror vibes. That is grim. That is proper grim. Like I have to say. Also, all Ron's links are on the screen right now. If you ever decide to come and visit my website. Well, here's the thing. Right? Ron is very analytical of himself, the human condition, a lot of things. And I don't know if it's a big heart, Michelle. Like, I don't know if I would say, oh, I've got a big heart. That's why I do the work I do. I would say it's a very healthy outlet for sociopathic tendencies to be vented in a way that's acceptable. And it wasn't like a Dexter scenario where I needed to find something to do that with, but it totally facilitates Alan's want for vengeance. That's a good way to put it. So I appreciate the sentiment, but it's interesting when I look inward and analyze why a lot of the things that I do get done. But I will say what brought me to the starting point was 100,000,000% the shock of the dark web B-mailing, like black and mailing, if you know what I'm saying. I don't even know if I can say that one right. Of young individuals, and then understanding the problem of the PDF files were something that how are we talking about the blackmail? I know I was talking about this. That was my sort of my mindset, and it just snowballed from there. And then I found myself understanding a lot more about magic and the spirit world and all this kind of stuff. And it was a very good way to funnel stress that would build up that nothing else would take the edge off, if that makes sense. Not necessarily, but a little bit. Who is Alan? Alan's what I refer to as, I believe inside of us we have two things, call them whatever you want. Native Americans, indigenous folk would say wolves or bears, but there's two versions of the story, and one version of the story is very modern, which talks about a young boy talking to his grandfather about the good and evil in both good and evil that exist within man, and refers to them as the good wolf made up of all good things, love, compassion, empathy, and the bad wolf made up of all things, evil, rage, jealousy, anger, all these kind of things that make up man. And the young boy says, well, hey, granddad, which one will win in the battle between the two? And the granddad says, the one that wins is the one that you feed. Now, that is some modern romanticized nonsense. Okay. The original story talks about how you have to feed both of them, because the last thing, do you know how dangerous a starving animal is? Do you know how dangerous a starving human is? So if you do not tend to both of these animals, at some point you will have moments where you snap or you react in a way that you can't explain why you've done that. And it could be tiny things, could be massive things, whatever. But Alan is one half of the two things that create me, which is the darkness. Alan represents the darkness. He's on the left side of me, I might add. And Bria, my little girl who passed over, she's on the right. She is all the purity. She is the light side. And if you imagine both of those factors as data circles, where they overlap in the middle is what you see here. You'll hear me talking in the third person a lot, or saying, oh, we would love that, or oh, I'm talking about the collectiveness of myself here, right? And you'll, now that you know that, you'll start hearing me doing it more. You know, you'll pick up on it more. But there's me. You'll hear all about this in Danny's interview tomorrow night. I'll be honest with you. I go into great depths about magic, about myself, about paranormal journey, religious journey, magical journey, all that stuff. I have never spoken about some of the things I'm talking about, and I've never been asked some of the questions or put over the information in the way that I did in that interview. So stay tuned. That was a side quest. Back to Wendy. So the fact that we have got TMZ reporting the fact that she sounds absolutely normal, she sounds herself, they cannot understand exactly why or how this guardianship, this, yeah, on Danny Henderson's channel, mate. Yeah, I'll link it right now and I'll put it up on the screen. It's only part one as well. We're going into the vigilanteism in the part two. But the Wendy Williams situation is very suspicious because she had legitimate platform, legitimate voice. We're not talking about a content creator. We're talking about a icon. And if they can just snap up an icon, get some stuff signed by a doctor, and have Wendy Williams, they are so confident, right? They're so confident in their own madness with this poor woman that they'll like let her do phone interviews. You know what I'm saying? Oh, sweet. The live stream's up. Oh, I'll link the live stream. Well, I might have to make a wee thumbnail for Danny. But yeah, there you go. Pagan witch, alchemist, reporter, whistleblowing activist, activist for kids. Ron Swanson tells Danny Henderson, "That's so cool. That's me. That's me." So yeah, super excited about this. And there I am looking super dapper. So yeah, I can't wait. It's very rarely does anyone ask me to do this, and I will jump at the opportunity if anyone ever wants to talk to me. How are we doing, Edinburgh Last? How are you? She speaks out about Diddy being of that persuasion, but a 15-year-old male rapper phoned her looking for advice because Diddy was vrooming him at a gym. So yeah, I would imagine if there was anyone that the American people and probably the international audience would listen to, if they came forward with a bunch of stuff that they had collected over the years, waiting for the right time to make it all public, I would put my money on Wendy Williams falling into that category of individual, right? So this reeks to me of, we got to shut up Wendy, but nothing can happen to Wendy, because we don't necessarily know where Wendy's put. But in saying that, if she had a dead, oh no, has Wendy got kids? So here's the thing. I imagine Wendy has got a dead man switch, and that's why she's still in the situation that she's in, like breathing, right? But what cancels out the dead man's switch from being pulled in the situation she's in now would be family members being affected, if that makes sense. Spicy. Late catching up in chipmunk speed. Oh, one son. Oh, God. Yeah, I see. It's wild. It's wild, man. And I tell you what, is this not a really clever? See, if I said to you, it's all of your possessions, money, and power, or your family. Is this not the legal version of doing that? Is that not like, okay, I now have control of everything that was yours? Is that not the legal version of a terrible deal? Taking an option in a terrible deal? I think it is. I really do think it is. That scares me. Right? We'll keep an eye on the Wendy Williams scenario for sure. For sure. Everybody give me less than 15 seconds. 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so Diddy, Jay-Z, the plot keeps thickening, shall we say. And Jay-Z, the allegations from MIA and various other individuals, do you think we're going to see an increase? Give me a 1 in the side chat if you think the case is basically where it's at with Jay-Z and we're not going to see anything else. Put a 2 if you think that there's going to be more. Put a 3 if you think he's going to get away with everything and nothing's going to come from it with Jay-Z. Because those fires, Hollywood, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's either the evil cabal overlords added to the fires to burn up evidence, allegedly, or it is the greatest argument for schmiting ever. I said this other day, like Christians all around the world must be like, oh, Hollywood is now being schmited. I'm telling you now, I would quite happily sit and listen to the Christian folk putting forward their PowerPoint presentation on how this is all a schmiting, because it feels very schmitey. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe everyone asking for Hollywood, oh, I've been praying and looking for answers. Did you happen to say, when you said, can you please take down Hollywood, did you mention about leaving infrastructure intact? Because the universe, the gods, they love giving us what we ask for in a way that brutally teaches us a lesson about small print. Okay. I say in the interview with Danny, one of the things that I spent most of my life learning with regards to magic is the contractual way I word things that I put out as my will and intent. How the hell did I get onto that? I can't even remember what the side quest was there. But the schmiting and the fact that when things burn up the way that they've burned up in these fires, it ain't like, oh, you know, Mr. Smith that lives at number 12 down the street, his house burnt down and he was a bit of a weirdo. What will the police do now? Well, they'll go in and they'll go through all the rubble, they'll grab hard drives and do this, because a house that goes on fire is a different kind of fire than an engulfing wall of hell. Right? Because, I mean, I'll also take my schmiting thing with a pinch of salt. Do you know what I'm saying? It was definitely something was definitely going on. Okay. Something was definitely going on. I mean, people just, when you ask for things from your gods, make sure you mention things like infrastructure and, you know, having to rebuild stuff, because they love to mess. That's why it took me a year. It took me a year to completely seal this house off. Completely seal it off, because of the wording in things. Here, Emma, do you know what's crazy about Mother Nature? Do you know there's a species of tree that will only release its seeds if it catches fire? What? So this tree has to be set on fire for its little nut things to open and the seeds to fall out. So, like forest catching fire, as horrible as it is, it's just meant to be. It's symbiosis. It's mad. I mean, it sucks. Okay, it sucks, but it's crazy. Symbiotic relationships, man. It blows my mind. There's an orchid and a moth, and if it wasn't for the orchid, the moth would die, and if it wasn't for the moth, the orchid would die. So forget about the chicken and the egg. What came first, the moth or the orchid? You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff. That's the stuff that baffles my brains. It really, really does. Now, oh, hello, that's Tommy. Tommy, what's happening?
You can't prove that.
How you do it? Do you know? I'm not being funny, but do you know that I've summoned you here mentally?
Do you?
Like, we're live right now, and I have summoned you here without you realizing it.
Do you know what's even more bizarre?
What?
4 minutes ago, I was in a grocery store in Topeka. Next thing I know, I'm sitting right here in front of. No, I can't back that up. I was going to stop by, because I know you guys were doing a little bit of Diddy stuff in the updates, and I've been chasing something down.
Okay.
So we have. I'll tease this now because I will bring this over here. This is it's certainly the platform, but
Sure.
we got somebody on the inside with some information that is, that's cool. We have some inside info on Diddy and his living conditions and whatnot.
Wow.
So
well, listen, that sounds epic, Tommy. Right? When I said I summoned you here, I've been willing, right, somebody to get in touch, right, to come and have a conversation with me, because we've looked at the MIA situation with the accusations towards Jay-Z. I don't know if you know anything about that. But the Wendy Williams scenario, we've just dived into this. TMZ have reported that done a 90-minute chat with her on the phone where she found it sounded completely coherent. And it's sort of put in perspective this guardianship, this censor, whatever it's censor, or whatever whatever the word is. You know what I'm talking about. Conservativeship. Is this not like if I come to you and you're Wendy Williams and I'm allegedly part of the Didosphere, and I say, if you want all your family to be alive, we want everything that you have, but we can't just off you. So we'll put this conservativeship in place where we own everything and we own you, and you get to just be in a prison, metaphorically speaking. Like, is that not what that is?
It's not metaphorically speaking, it's literally, right? She's literally in a prison. Now, I don't know if you heard, but she said when she picks her phone up, she can, her phone basically doesn't allow incoming calls. So if she can make a phone call out, but if the person doesn't pick up, she's hosed. They've got her really, it's a prison. It's a very nice one, apparently. There's a view of a parking lot and there's not, bars, but she is absolutely in a prison of sorts. And, allegedly, Ron, this is kind of crazy, but allegedly everything that's going on with Kanye is the same deal, right? They're trying to force Kanye into a conservatorship as well. And
what?
It's all, yeah, absolutely. And it's always the same narrative.
So what's going on with Kanye? I mean, obviously Kanye, was it not a while ago we had the Mad Kanye chapter?
Yeah, and that's what I'm referring to. These days, he spends his time outside the United States to avoid this kind of stuff because of his proximity to the Kardashians. And the person that was trying to get him set up in the conservatorship has worked on many other famous people's conservatorships, right? So you see these people, and all of a sudden they're on a Britney Spears case, and then all of a sudden they're on someone else. And I don't know anything about this business. Maybe there's only one or two great people in all of the conservatorship game.
Right.
And maybe when someone needs to be put into a conservatorship, they're calling out the Babe Ruth. Hey, Darcy, they're calling out the Babe Ruth of conservatorships. I don't have any idea, to be honest. But it seems like the same names are coming up again and again. And it has been alleged by multiple sources that some of the money from Britney Spears' conservatorship actually got funneled through that community church of California that is run by the Kardashian mother. Yeah,
not absolutely. The church, not the clean-handed hand. Forgive me for purposely turning this into more of an interview situation to content harvest from you. Here's an interesting one, right? Do you think that the fire was a warning shot to say, hold your tongue now? I don't want you to answer this. I want you to imagine this. In this scenario, we're talking about natural fires that have occurred, Tommy, but then for some reason, someone thought it would be a good idea to maybe help the fires along to burn up some evidence. Okay. And would you not then consider, in this hypothetical scenario, if you're willing to melt down most of California to get rid of two properties, let's just say for fun, like for analogy, Jay-Z and Diddy, just pulling two names out of a hat, would you not be feeling a lot like a loose end that needs cleaned up if you were Jay-Z after they melted down your house, rather than worry about if you've cleaned up any evidence of anything allegedly?
Yeah, I mean the fire thing. I tend to be more of a I don't know. Maybe I'm just cynical, but when there's a fire of this size, I look for a land grab. This is some really prime real estate. I think people may have taken advantage of the situation, and may have done some stuff like that. I know from people in the past that when really great natural disasters happen, the people who con people use it as an opportunity to do some really fun stuff, right? If you can get all your stuff out of the house and then burn it to the ground, and they're reporting on what, a 1,000 houses. If you look at the damage that was done in LA, it's like wiping a decent part of Queens, right? Jamaica, Queens off of the map. It's just we really are missing a city. It burnt like Maui. Thank you, Tilu. Smart audience, right?
Yeah.
But this smells a lot like the Maui situation.
Well, it's interesting. I had pointed out the fact that we should all be focusing on who starts buying up the properties around the Didosphere. Okay, because I'm just saying, if I'm an evil overlord, right, of the cabal, and I'm like, Jeremy, some properties come up available around the LA market. You know,
Malibu.
You know the tunnels, Jeremy. You know your young, your young bloodline nephew was looking for a wonderful property to do his sacrificial dance under the ground. That's what's going to happen, bro. That's what's going to happen.
Question for you. So I was doing some, I was pulling some stuff on Diddy's homes, the one in LA and the one in Florida. The one in Florida was built in 2020 or 2021, something like that. It's a pretty new built, that one on Star Island. And I don't think he would have, I'm curious, and I'm not being a wise guy, but it's, when you're a content creator, you realize that people can say literally anything, right? Anything. It doesn't need to be backed up. It doesn't need to have anything. So I'm just trying to figure out some way to try to adjust, or some kind of way to prove that maybe there were some plans. There was something that, and even the house in LA is not wildly old. But that one in the plans, you can see a underground tunnel built to a grotto. Like he had a pool that allowed you to go kind of from inside to outside through a tunnel that was flooded, except for maybe the top inch or 3 inches or whatever, where they would keep that with air in it. But I don't see anything else on the plans. Now I realize that that's probably not the kind of thing you'd want to have on plans anyway. I just wonder if there's somebody out there that would have helped him construct those or tap into those. I'd be curious.
One thing we need to always remember is Elon Musk invented PayPal, sold PayPal, and created the Boring Company, which was a company that specialized in building tunnels. And I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying those are some facts, and we're talking about some tunnels right now.
He absolutely he does own a company that does that jig, to be sure. That whole underwater that gig says,
So imagine third parties on third parties on third parties hire his company to do something, right? They're I don't know, we're putting in sewage or whatever. The job's done, and years later, Musk is sort of a bell rings, and he starts going through some of the jobs and looking at blueprints and looking at what's been done. Do you think it's possible that Musk is sitting on little tidbits that may come to light with regards to what lies beneath, metaphorically speaking?
You know what? That's a fascinating question. One of the things that I think makes this more interesting is that we know him taking over Twitter.
Yep.
There's so much info that got purged and cleaned and didn't get allowed out. There's a treasure trove of stuff in the Twitterverse that he probably has access to. I'd be really surprised with that and the amount of money this guy has, right? Think about, if you had unlimited money, and I'm not being funny, right? This is damn near unlimited money. I could see this being the kind of situation where if there was, allegedly we hear all the time that, these tapes were available on the dark web forever, right? In the other part of the interwebs, right? The one that's down below, you could be buying these for a long time, but it was ridiculous. They talk about these ungodly amounts of money that these things sold for. I would be really surprised if someone of his wealth and power wouldn't have maybe just said, let's buy one of those and see what's on it. I mean, wouldn't you if you had the ability?
Here's an interesting one, right?
Yeah.
Because we often discussed about the pyramid of money in this case. So Diddy, allegedly worth 900 million. Whoa, that's a lot of money, Tommy. Yeah. Then the next player, Jay-Z, allegedly worth 4 billion. Okay. Then the next player, Rooq, come in, worth 50 billion.
Yeah.
And then you Google Elon, 426 billion.
Yeah. Yeah, the ends are meeting.
So when we look at money, right, as like being a battering ram that the police use on the door, okay? Right. So, Diddy beats all of us, right? Jay-Z beats Diddy, Rooq beats Jay-Z, Musk beats Rooq. In the how much of your money can you put up as a shield as they're bashing through? Do you see what I mean? In this weird power structure of money.
Absolutely. And
so
he's just as important, the leverage.
He's the one person. Sorry, Tommy, on you go. We got a bit delayed there. On you go, mate.
You're good. He's also the only guy in the world that has this ability to blow this out, right? He owns Twitter, right? Or X now. His ability to do things in this universe is unlike anything any of us can wrap our head around. For instance, when all of these fires broke out, he just waved that magic wand of his and gave high-speed internet instantly to all of the people down there. The same thing he did, he just goes in and goes boom and throws a switch. If this dude does have this stuff, his administration, so to speak, the Elon Musk and Trump administration just started about an hour ago. So he just got sworn in over here, and we will see. And Edinburgh Glass says, root of all evil, money. I'm going to beg to differ just a little bit because it's just worthless pieces of paper with images of royalty or dead presidents, right? Or cool people on it or whatever. Representation of wealth, of fiat, whatever. The love of money is the root of all evil. Money is just a tool, and people do some great stuff with it. But it actually says in that book that it is the love of money that is the root of all evil.
I was going to say the allure, right? Yeah. I was going to say, so how do you feel if I change the question, Tommy, to the allure of money is the most dangerous? But here's the thing.
Absolutely.
I would hasten to say that if we just, whatever the word is for allure, right? When you're not being specific about what the allure is, right. I would almost say temptation is man's greatest problem. Because, Tommy, I made an analogy the other day that a 5-year-old who knows nothing about deceit, has not been taught anything about being a devious human being, will be told, do not take a cookie from the cookie jar. And then as soon as everyone's backs are turned and no one else is around, they'll take that cookie. And it's almost a human condition that we have from birth to be devious and to be our true selves when no one else is around. What do you think about that?
Dude, it's hard for me because I thought about this incessantly, right? Yeah, I've spent more time thinking about this. As it turns out, I had the ability to sort of meditate on this.
Cool.
The United States of America was kind enough to give me a concrete box that was about 7 feet wide and about 14 feet long, and I had
a concentration box. It's very
that's
much
right. That is exactly what it is, man. That is where you go and you do a lot of this kind of thought. And I don't know. I think that I don't think everybody is. I think I certainly was born with some larceny in my heart. But I think that had I not gone into the realm that I had wandered into, the opiate, the poppy, the morphine molecule did me in a very quick fashion.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. When you were doing things that were a bit naughty, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had people around you that were involved with those naughty things, right?
Correct.
So that ain't behind closed doors, Tommy. I'm not talking about the dark things that we do or the naughty things we do that we have on the surface that people see.
I got you.
I'm talking about, and we're all guilty of it on a level.
To some degree. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And I'm talking from innocent things like, when no one else is around, I like to, eat 3 chocolate bars and a bunch of freaking snacks in bed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right the way up to serial life enders who have completely parallel lives and all this kind of stuff. It's fascinating to me. I don't even know what I'm saying or what it means.
I get it. And I think Catherine makes a good point too, where sometimes just the, excuse me, sometimes just knowing that the cookie is the forbidden fruit, I think sometimes makes certain individuals need that even more. And I was always that kid. But here's the thing about this. If you put a pistol in the middle of the room and you said, if you touch that thing, it's going to kill you, I would have ended up touching it.
Okay. So that's exactly my point. So at what point are we taught that when no one's around, we should touch that? We're not taught that.
No,
we take it on board ourselves from a pre-installed cognition that, okay, you can tell me that, but see, when no one's around, I'm touching that.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah.
Where does it come from? It's fascinating to me, man. It's fascinating to me, bro. Like,
I think it's that need, especially when we're younger, right? It's that need to push the boundaries of our existence a little bit. Right, especially when we're young, we're seeing what we can get away with, what we can't get away with. A lot of times, I think it's the desire. It certainly was this way with chemicals, right?
Sure.
And subconsciously, a lot of us, the first time we use a substance and we go, "Oh, you know what? That really makes me feel more comfortable in my skin." It's not perfect, right? Yeah. But it makes me feel comfortable in my skin. And subconsciously, or even consciously, I think in some cases, people go, well, I'm going to go find the one that is perfect because I guarantee you, right? If this one does this, I need to try that white stuff, or I need to try that black stuff, or
yeah. It's interesting. Like I say, when we're talking about the true intentions of man, when people feel like there is no one else around and they are not being watched, you see the true human condition, whether it's positive, neutral, negative, whatever. And sadly, for a long time, the research I done, there was parts of the internet, Tommy, where people felt they had that anonymity, where the thing was so encrypted and so far from the mainstream that they had that sense of empowerment. I've seen it, and it's incredibly dark when it flourishes in dark.
Perfect name for it, isn't it? Right. Man. That area is called that kind of web for a reason. It is beyond. I've always said this. I feel somewhat blessed that I was a criminal that came along when I did. I'm glad that I wasn't part of that whole thing. The computers and because it is terrifying. It's I did when Silk Road had not yet gone out of business.
That's the time period I'm talking about for the anonymity. Just so you know, when the Silk Road came to an end, that was the spiraling downfall for that iceberg of a place, shall we say?
No question. Agent Orange, yes, I had on multiple occasions. I have been with women that were also addicted to H. And how is it? It's worse. You may not believe this, but most men and most women will suffer so that their mate won't have to. And if there was not enough, if there wasn't enough chemical to get both people well, you tend to take care of your mate. And and I remember not taking anything away from any of them, because in both cases these women would go, "I'm not doing that if you're not doing it." We'll split that, and then you'd have to, and knowing full well it wasn't gonna get either of you right. If you split it, I would have to lie and go, "Oh, I just did one in the car."
Dude,
right before I came up.
That is fascinating insight to the culture of a world I've never been in that situation. So I
Thank
hear
God.
these culture factors of couples who go through this together. It's the same. But it's the same with everything in it. If it was food we were talking about, you would go hungry. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If it was the size of the blanket in bed, they would have all the blanket, right? It's
Yeah.
that mindset. And you know what's very interesting? I bet if we took the subcategories of people who were on the H, it's not a unified thing. This is you're a real person with empathy who has gone down a bad road rather than a terrible, horrible person who is also on H, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I found over the course of the time that I was addicted to chemicals that the majority of people that I interacted with to this day, I believe all of them, if not all of them, most of them would have been pretty solid people had it not been for the chemical. There are some exceptions that jump off the paper at me.
Yeah.
Names of people that were just sort of dark, nasty people, but the
Uh,
vast majority of them were just sad. These were people that tried the wrong substance and it got their number. And by the way, this doesn't have to be a substance, right? The reason we call the lifeboat is because we're all in the same boat. There are people doing this today with a turkey they buy at at Walmart, one of those rotisserie or a rotisserie chicken. They're going home and crushing it, or they're placing bets, or they're they're on this thing and their eyes don't come off of it for 16 hours a day. All of it is just an attempt for us to feel to get our needs met, right? And the newest one, the one that's really screwing us up, is relevance, bro. Now, because of this, everybody also feels you don't need love and shelter and food.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Relevance.
Here's the thing. Are you like, how open?
This is what's going to happen. I'll tease y'all with this too. The person that I'm talking to works at MDC Brooklyn and has direct knowledge of exactly the what's going on in his unit with the people and all of that. I'm not saying this person works in their unit, but they got all of it. So as soon as this thing clicks, I'm just going to have to bail out on you. But until then, keep going.
Yeah. So how like open can I ask questions about your past with chemicals?
Anything you want.
Okay, because what's really interesting for me, right, is the concept of cultures that nobody would experience unless they were in your shoes. And
Sure.
Across the board, whether it's happy stories or negative stories, right? So on your journey, right, when we see addiction on the TV, we see what can happen when people are homeless. We see that people kind of gravitate to people who've got similar stories to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you were using, did you find that your friend group or your chemical buddies and things like this were a reflection of the life that you guys once had? Was it a similarity, or was it just a chemical bond that brought a lot of you together?
It was 100% a chemical bond. And the crazy thing is, had you watched it from the street, there was one person in particular. I was working as a public speaker, and he was not my boss. He was the more successful of the two of us. So he spoke in the first position, and I went on stage second. But we traveled together, and we usually took one room so we could split the per diem cash for the day and all that. And I got to know the dude really, really well. But we were addicted to drugs and H in particular. We traveled the country for I don't know how long, but when the chemical was out of our lives, it went. There was nothing. There was we sat in a room once and went, yeah, that one time in Oklahoma where you said like nothing. We couldn't come up with a conversation, and it's not always that way. But the rally point is always the chemical. And as I was going through being a junkie, which is what I was, but I did it for about 30 years. And the times that I really kind of understood. Go ahead.
So sorry, Tommy. I just
you're good.
Were you a functioning user where were you doing crime to facilitate the habit, or were you were, but you were also doing a regular job as well, right? Speaking. So
regular job, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I was, I was a speaker. I don't want you to think that like it was a legit gig. I mean, it was a really big company. They paid me real checks, but it was a scam.
In the grand scheme of junkie, as you say,
Yeah.
That's not something that stands out in the average story unless it's a functioning user, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
when you're a functioning user and you're literally living a double life, right? I mean, how do you cope with all of that, Tommy? How do you go through 30 years of hiding or and trying to keep that? I mean, were you trying to keep that side quiet? I mean, what did you have
Oh my
friends?
God. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, right? Of
Oh
course,
my
right?
God. Yeah. Yeah. It was H. When you say that word, we're an hour and 31 minutes in. I don't want to get you demonetized, but
Yeah, yeah,
that
good.
word in and of itself. I mean, when you say that word, even people who are in the game, in the chemical game, go, oh, you know what I mean? H, really? I mean, come on, dude, horse. So yeah, I hid that from everybody.
So for me, I've always been very open. I have done countless things to my mind and body, right?
Right.
And opiates, I mean, you're talking to somebody who has never played in a recreational way with that whole genre, right? I get very excited if I get a toothache because there's a painkiller in the UK that has a very high, I think it's cocodamol or something like that. And they send me loopy, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They send me loopy, but they said the biggest thing on the packet it says do not consume for more than 3 days because addiction can be a real thing. But I
Right.
mean, for those 3 days when I'm waiting that toothache to go away, I am on a different planet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And things, you know yourself, chemicals can affect different people in different ways, right? Do you think that you were part of a niche group of chemical buildup as a biological human that you were able to be a functioning addict? Do you think that there is those who are capable of it if the opportunity is there and those who are not?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, especially with people addicted to the morphine molecule, a lot of it
Yeah.
comes down to what your particular skill set is. So
Okay.
if you're somebody that's a welder, or you're somebody that does something where you have to be hyper alert for 8 to 10 hours at a time, and not doing that could cause great bodily harm, right? And they're drug testing you and this and that. Those people crash and burn quickly. But if what you do for a living, like my skill set allowed me to go on stage for 2 hours and make a ton of money, and I only had to do that a handful of times, each week to make enough money where I could support a $600 or $700 a day habit. So it was unique for me because this was so tailor made. I could do dope sleep, almost like a rock star, except it wasn't cool. I would just I would sleep until noon or 1 o'clock, and then I would get up and eat. And by about 6 at night, I was getting ready to go on stage. I would go out and sell
Yeah.
business opportunity deals, like business opportunity stuff. And then when it was over, I would run back upstairs, do a mountain more dope, hang out and watch silly TV until 4 o'clock in the morning, pass out, and then do it all over again. And I did it for 3 decades.
Have you ever heard of Taylor Nicole Dean? Maybe I can't imagine you have, right?
I don't know that name.
There's a documentary that is called "I Got Addicted to H" in front of 1.5 million YouTube subscribers.
Oh, I've seen this person before.
Yeah, anyone who wants to get the true understanding of what a modern functioning habit that creeps up on someone, this lady's story from 4 years ago will batter this home, because for some people, right? Do you know, it's almost like the dealer path where, hey, I've got 10 friends and I've got the hookup, so I got all the bits. And now I've got 20 friends, so I need to get more bits. Now I've got 50 friends, now I've got 100 friends, and it snowballs. But users can be like that too, where, you're passively alcohol, whatever. You're passively doing it. The more and more you're streaming, the more and more you're doing it, the more and more you're consuming. And I would say to anyone who would like the better understanding of what people who have gone through that kind of addiction in life, this is a great one for people to dive into. It's on Vice. I got addicted to H in front of 1.5 million YouTube subscribers. And obviously, Tommy, you're a fantastic source for all of this, because
I appreciate it.
I'll be honest, I know nothing about your backstory, nothing about anything. You came to the Sean Atwood channel. I feel like you need to get WhatsApp sorted out, or your missus does, because there's so much that I think we could be doing together on this channel.
I will send you. I have what I did was I got Johnny. For the record, I took this to the Apple bar and they couldn't make it work. So
Yeah,
don't know
nothing
what it is,
suspicious
man.
there. Nothing
Nothing
suspicious
suspicious
there.
there. Well, you know something. This is going to be the year. You know, people are
Yeah,
taking their shots, and those things
yeah,
are going to happen because this is the year where we actually go after human tea. And I talked about Diddy. I have talked about one subject after another, but when I
mhm,
said human tea, the low lives came out of the woodwork, man. Like the T word peoples, I mean, when you
yeah,
start talking about this, it's a different ball game. They want
brother,
you to shut up. I'm watching it firsthand. It's incredible.
brother. So this not a week on Friday, my new podcast, Educate, Infiltrate, Liberate, Survive in Life, the podcast, 150 billion a year industry. And I think you should come and join me from time to time on this, Tommy,
I'd
because
be honored, brother.
the way that we're having to relay information now is in two ways. You're going to get a completely new way of interpreting horrific expose style human tea stuff so that it's monetizable and palatable for people to be educated and share. The website will have the raw information and the info dumps, and any exposes that are done. My channel will have the traditional expose info dump as a video. And this is going to be one of those, this is where you're going to see the passion, right, for the subjects. If I was into football, this would be about football and I'd be passionate.
Oh,
But
I
this is
get
going
it.
to go this is going to go right from educating on fundamentals to real stories from, cyber teams and boots on the
Well,
ground
see,
teams.
this just hammers it home. You're lazy and I'm not. So I've researched your background, bro. I know this is your Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I know the history of you. I know that
yeah,
you've built a very large channel in the past, and that
yeah,
the powers that the powers that suck.
yeah,
But this is a new one, and I'm fired up for you, man. I absolutely will be over there. I will
yeah.
be
And like I
excited
say,
about
we've got to be really clever because it's not just my channel that's going on.
it. I know.
So all of the stories that we'll be telling on the channel will be taken from another realm's point of view, Tommy. We often talk about the spiritual battle,
Yep.
the witchcraft and the evilness, the ritualistic stuff that goes with this. And if we imagine there's another dimension, right, where innocence is a currency and there's people that are trying to harvest and people that are trying to defend it, that's how
No
we're going to
question.
tell some of the horrible stories, because that
And
is a
and I've got a
fictional.
control group that's right up your alley. I know you know a lot about the Masons, but I got a group that we're going to have a ball with. That is my guy. I have to
All
go
right,
figure out how I get the voices. But I'll be back on this one for
Tommy,
the Diddy thing
anything
too.
you need help with for keeping people's identity safe, just get in touch with me. I'll sort you right out.
It's a deal.
Voice changes and shit like that, mate. No problem. 100%.
Perfect, brother. Thank you.
Peace. Well, that was wonderful. The Mr. Tommy himself coming and joining us. I was just sitting here thinking, I really wish I had somebody to talk to. And boom, he appears. Now, a few last things I want to cover, right? We're hitting, we'll probably go for till 7, right? Uh, I need you all to understand, right? There is so many levels to the battles that we talk about on Beverly's shows, that we'll be talking about, that we've talked about with people like Big Homie, that Jag talks about, all of this. I am 100% tackling surviving life from both sides. Okay. We're going to be tackling the physical world, the spiritual world, the online world, the offline world. Because if we don't include all of it, you're only getting half the tale. Bev is back with us tomorrow, Alicia, I think. And I've got a new weekly show starting with Azria as well. And listen, Bev and I could quite happily sit here for countless hours, but sadly, she is a very, very, very busy lady when it comes to office hours, shall we say. So it's getting the balance of how many nights we can do stuff, and it's going well. I think it's going well. Now, I'm going to do a wee test here of the new systems that are in place for donations and things like that. So everything you're about to see appear on the screen is me testing this. And there we go. All right. And then tip. This should read out something now.
This is a test donation for £67.
Yeah. So through the new system, if you put a message or type out like you would in a super chat, the lovely AI lady will read out your message for us. And it also stores all the messages with dates, with names, with users, with everything. And I can kind of click through them. And yeah, it's also a way, nothing's going to be disappearing. Super chats will still be there. But YouTube takes a big chunk of your money. I'm not going to lie, and then makes you wait 5 weeks before they hand it over to us, and then don't give us a breakdown. So if you want to directly support the creators and the show and all of this kind of stuff, especially, I mean, it's rolling out on Bev and I's and my shows, but that support is going to directly go to funding what we're doing. Because some of the boots on ground stuff that you're going to hear about, we just need to get it funded. My Patreon is going to be going into that as well. So it's all for the good of mankind. My earnings budget just takes me up to a point where I have I just don't have the expendable income. So that's what I'm going to try and read. But that's why you've not heard me mention things like donations or patrons for the last however many 2-3 years. I've just not needed it. But now there's a reason and good can be done. And you guys, right? Oh my God. Dude. Sue, I swear to God, I was just about to say you guys are the new warriors in this situation. Those were the words that were about to come out my word. I'm not a holistic warrior, okay? I am a vengeful man. Okay, I'm a vengeful man who is balanced. But when it comes to retribution for those who think that children and the rules towards children do not apply to them, that is because there are no rules that apply to me. And I cannot wait. I can't wait. There's a few people that are going to wake up one day and meet
Alan. Internet. I am the voice that will be at the end of many conversations to many horrible individuals who realize the jig is up and their time for terrorizing children is over.
So yeah, there's nothing better than when that voice appears at the end of someone's phone, their Discord, their WhatsApp. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It really is. I swear to God, if I had a budget, man, like if I had a crazy budget, like we're talking like if I won the 10 times rollover Euro lotteries and had 5 billion sat in the bank, oh man, the team that I would fund and all we would do, the whole operation for this team would be teaching lifelong lessons. How positive an impact would that have on the world, guys? Teaching lifelong lessons. Nothing demonetizable about that, you know? Also, that's not me like pooping on holistic stuff, just to be clear. At all. You know, you do you, all good. But for me, it's a beautiful thing that we're going to be doing. For every dollar donated. Yes, exactly. Yes, Carla. Thank you. And with the new system, it's like 6% or something, or 7%. It's way better. Okay. Like for every 100 that's donated, we're getting closer to 100 than we are 90. You know what I'm saying? That's good money. And it can be used the day that you donate, right? So yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome. But again, continue using super chats if you're more comfortable with that. And they directly fund and keep the whole channel collectively going. And again, if this was all about money, I would have gone on about this as soon as I came to Sean's channel. I would have been like, Patreon, donations, let's go. But I've not needed it. Life's been good. And there's now a reason to ask, you know. Oh, listen. The new Patreon system is going to include inclusions in live streams. So until I get a sponsor, I'll be sponsored by my own Patreon, and there'll be like a 30-second ad in my live stream where everyone who's a patron gets their name flashed up and all that kind of stuff. Awesome. And super chats, everyone should be acknowledged for the ways that they fund. Donate through PayPal, yeah, 100%. That's how it's done. There's various other ways of doing it, but it's done through hang on a minute, let me get the link. Let me show you what it looks like on the screen. Hang on a sec. Why is my one? Oh, there it is. Okay, I know how to do my job. All right, so on my link tree here, you'll see live stream donations. If you click on that, you will be taken to Streamlabs /Project Rooq /tip, which is here. And you'll be, it's fairly obvious. It's me. Here we go. I'm currently live. You'll see that. You type in your username, you put in your donation amount, you type in your message, and then it's sent over. And when one of them arrives, it'll alert me like this.
This is a test donation for £61.
And it will just read it straight away. Now, what it allows me to do is, let's say we're in the middle of something with Bev. So we turn off the notifications, right? So we then have the ability to click this. So this is Mac's donation from a day ago via Super Chat. We have the ability to replay everything on the screen. So it would be a case of going, okay, we're going to go back to the questions and back to any remaining Super Chats.
This is a test donation for £83.
And it'll be read out again. That is not essential. It is just for those who like to support and can want to now do it in a way where it is really beneficial. So I'm excited to present all of this to you. I really, really am. ProjectRooq.com, my website, all my links, all my content, all the old stuff, the documentaries. I've got 3 documentaries that aren't on the internet that need to come back. And once Patreon's launched, there will be the YouTube version, the public website version, and then the Ron director's cuts will be what go on Patreon. On you know, all the sweary words will be there and stuff like that. So, you know, yeah. Now, when it comes to the Patreon, I don't know why I'm just filling space with self-promotion, but let's just keep talking about it. When you join the Patreon, you will get an automatic shift over to the Discord. You will then be treated like everyone else. You will go into the security pod. You'll have to go through the security, all the rest of it. And once you're in, and you'll get a little special badge that says, I am part of funding Ron's mission on Patreon or whatever. And yeah, I'm excited because maybe, just maybe, right, this year, Ron might put together a tiny little project that is just for him, a cinematic project that's maybe like a 14-minute long, tiny little horror thing. I've always wanted to do a horror movie, and I would love to have a shot at like a mini one. So yeah. But that's up. All of that will be announced when everything's ready to be relaunched. Because again, I don't want to direct people there until it's revamped, relaunched, everything's ready to go. Just because at the moment it basically says that Patreon hasn't been updated since 2019. Right? So it's very out of date. No. Carla, good idea. Oh, yeah, that I would love. Honestly, I just want to say Dan is so freaking excited to come back and do live streaming. Okay. I mean, she is so excited. Every time she comes on, that whole night, she'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe we were streaming together and all this. And I'll be honest with you, that's my next thing, is integrating Dan. She can come into the paranormal stuff easy peasy, but I want her to have her own little identity eventually. And once she's comfortable being on camera and things like that, I think we'll be expanding. Because I've got like 3 streaming PCs, a streaming laptop, multiple cameras, all of this kind of stuff. And if I'm going to buy a new couch, so if I buy Dan the couch and give her a corner in the living room so that when she's live with me, she's got her own little vibe, if that makes sense. And it's then about doing streams with Dan that are inclusive for Dan. So if you've ever seen Lush Life, it's a YouTube channel, Leon Lush and his missus, they do reactions to funny stuff, right? And I really want to trial that. So I'm going to set up a page on the Discord where I'm going to put together a team of playlist makers. So you're going to put together playlists of shorts from YouTube that are funny, and then we're going to sit down and react to them and film it and then post the pre-records. And then hopefully, if you guys gravitate to Dan in that way, it means over on Twitch, we can start doing some story-driven games where I'm playing the game, Dan is talking to you guys, and we're interacting in a social way that has nothing to do with YouTube or any of the stuff that we're doing. But if you are into modern story-driven, proper AAA games and you like to be immersed and go along for a little journey, that's probably going to be the next thing. Also, on Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, you're able to support me financially for free with your free subscriber, not follower, which following's free, subscribing costs money on Twitch. You can gift a creator, which is me, your free subscription, which gives me free money. It's basically like saying to Jeff Bezos, here's my $10 for Amazon Prime, give half of it to Ron. It's awesome. And I'll be honest, having a place where we can decompress that has nothing to do with work, and it's everything to do with something that's me and Dan, and we can swear and we can be stupid and all this stuff. Ron, I tell you right now what we're going to start with. We're going to start with The Last of Us Part 1, played on one of the harder settings, and we're going to go on a journey with The Last of Us. Once we've completed that, I think we'll be filling the gaps of playing that with some community games and things like that. So yeah, excuse me, I've got watery eye. But it's very much community driven when it comes to the story driven games, because see the writing of a game makes it, right? I've got a game that's about a little French girl trying to get her little brother out of the Black Plague in Paris that we started playing, that was unbelievable. Like we only got about 2 missions into the game, and then we stopped playing it for whatever reason, but it was phenomenal. And I've got another one about a Viking lady who goes to hell to try and find the soul of her beloved. And do you know, it's funny because all of these games were bought in a period of time where my computer couldn't quite play them, so they never really got played. But now we've got an absolute monster. We've got an absolute monster of a computer. An absolute monster. Like, that is what I invested all of my work, because I'll take out a loan every year and pay it off in a year to buy the equipment for work, right? Because I want to own my own stuff. I could turn around and ask Sean, like Sean will, I'm happy for Sean to buy like battery packs or like a £100 tablet or something, no problem. And that was last year's money, just went on the computer. This year's money has gone on refitting everything into the tiny space I have now. And by the way, Ron loves being the floating head. Like, this is the surviving life format. Ron as a floating head. But now we've got the side lights, and we've got our very impressive background lights. And obviously, over time, that cloth that's over this will be replaced with like black hanging proper fittings that have got the logo of the podcast and things like that in them, right? But It's looking good, right? I mean, it's looking good. The eyes are blue too today, right? That's when you know. That's when you know things are serious. Oh, I got a new chair. Hell yeah! But sadly, new chair needs to go back to Amazon because it ain't the one at all. It's sad that Amazon has become a warehouse holding center for Wish.com and Temu. So I'm going to have this chair returned, and then I'm going to go to PC World and buy the chair there. Because I ain't ever buying something like a chair or anything like a sofa or anything like that off Amazon and nothing. And like, nah. The last of it was when they completely screwed me over on my dining table. I specifically wanted a full wooden dining table, and I ended up with a chipboard topped metal framed thing that they duped me. So I'm done. So now I'm not buying another dining table until I can go to the Oak furniture store and buy a bad boy. And it's beautiful. Do you know, it's a tiny little dining table. It's got little benches, so it all compacts in. And Dan and I sit and have our dinner at it each night, and we set the table. And I'm cooking on my big new cooker, cooking up things. The last sort of 3 nights, everything's been fresh. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. You know, and I love that dynamic. Like, I love cooking. I love it. I love bringing things through in dishes and putting them down on a table and watching people smile and be like, "Oh, what is this?" I like that is. I would say that is the most. People keep calling me Vikings, right? To me, that is the most Viking thing about me is my love for feeding and the feasting. I love it. Yeah, no. Monster Computer was last year. I'll show you it all. It's ridiculous. I'll show you it on the next stream. And I bought the ghost hunting equipment and all of that kind of stuff. Now, what you could tell me, actually, lovely people, is how well. Now, oh shite. When I say when I. One second. Okay, so when I say how does this sound, I mean from a could you listen to a live stream? Excuse me. With this, excuse me. Oh man, that was weird. Excuse me, everybody. That was like I had to go under the desk, and then I sat up really fast and got like massive head rush, and then my stomach totally done a 180 on me. So I'm head rushing, and I'm like, oh my god, am I about to now not be very well? But now I'm fine now. Hate that. Okay, right. So anyone remember? Oh, okay, we're talking about this. Okay, so tell me how this sounds. Like, imagine if I said, hey, we're going to do a Spirit Box live stream, and this was the sound you got. Would it be okay? Now, if you've got crappy speakers or you're listening on a crap tablet, maybe remember, keep that in mind.
FM mode.
So how loud is this? So when I'm talking right now, and then I stop talking, can you hear the Spirit Box? And if so, is it able to be listened to, or is it just an absolute nightmare? I mean, it sounds like an absolute. It sounds muffled. Okay, so is doing this a better option? Like, is that better? Yeah, it sounds like okay. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if yeah, it's not going to be clear. But what I can do is there's a device that you can get that goes from the spirit box to its headphone jack, and it removes all the white noise. It removes it all, and anything that isn't white noise, it will play. And it's about 100 quid. So that's going to be the first thing that I sort of put money into that's content related, but isn't surviving life related, if that makes sense. Also, as well, there'll be very specific on the Patreon. There'll be multiple tiers that are for the same amount of money, right? So you'll have $5 a month surviving life, $5 a month paranormal, $5 a month all Ron's content, because I'm happy for people to know what they're supporting and to have a choice in that, if that makes sense. So yeah. Also, I will say though, if there's nothing to buy paranormal for months, it will just obviously funnel into the good fight, if that makes sense. So yeah. So let me just think. So many, like 100 quid for this little thing, honestly, but it's 100 freaking quid just to remove the white noise. It's infuriating. But what that will allow us to do is effectively build on how we hear the sound over time. And there's things that you can do to the legitimate hits in paranormal investigations when it comes through on the static that makes things incredibly clear. And again, it's about intelligent responses. And I've never used this. I've never done an investigation with it. But remember, all of my best results from paranormal spirit box sessions, we haven't heard any of the good stuff until afterwards. Like it's when you hear a little or a boom in the static that isn't a voice, and then you slow it down and it's a clear voice. So I've said with Bev that I see these things as tools that you have to learn how they are, how they're used, right? Right, Fifi. So my whole mindset is buy things once, right? Buy things once. But I'm also a tech head. So you know the spirit boxes that you've seen, right? That they don't have the white noise and they've got the reverb and they sound cool and they look cool, but they cost like $4,000. I want to produce that quality of sound, but in a way where all of us know how it's been put together. There's no iPhone in the back that's picking words or any of that crap. We are just focusing on the static and how we can hear things better. Because I'll be honest with you, the one time I used this in a graveyard, the results were phenomenal. We're talking about regional accents from spirits in a graveyard in Scotland with Scottish accents. And there was positive stuff. There was horrible stuff. There was messages for me. There was threats to me. There was all kinds of awesome stuff. But the problem is, sometimes you'll get a really good result. Sometimes it will be, who am I talking to? And it'll be like, Steve, and it'll come through clear as day, but we're not talking about a radio transmission. We're talking about intersections of static that have something in them, right? So that's why people write off the spirit box so fast, because like, oh, all I'm hearing is little bits of the radio. We're not talking about that. Now, Dreadhead, I completely would love you to be my patient zero for this. So you're not a fan of the spirit box. So when I start doing my content with it, can you come back and let me know how you feel about the results that I'm presenting? Because like I don't use it how YouTubers use it. You know what I mean? I use it and then go back and we delve into it. Sometimes you'll get really good live responses, though. Sometimes you'll get really good live responses, or sometimes, like for example, I've got a recording of me saying, "Did you say run?" But no one said run. But then right after I said it, a voice came through and said run. It's weird. So if you're okay with that 420, once I start doing that, if you can give me some feedback, because I fully understand how people feel about it when you look at it from a tool that's misused and used within YouTube content. Now, there is a method called the Estes method, which is when someone sits with the spirit box going through headphones and I can't hear the questions you're asking, and then I'm shouting out what I hear in the static. I want to try that live on the internet where Beverly and Discord are asking the questions. I can't hear you, and I'm just shouting out answers, and we'll see if anything adds up. Because if I can't hear what the questions are, and I'm giving intelligent responses based off of what I've heard in the static, that has to mean something, right? So I'm well up for trying so much, guys. But listen, I need your guys' help to help push out my little show again each day. Algorithmically, we're getting slapped to pieces. And, you know, I'm going to need your help with that. I'm going to need your help with a lot of things. And I know all of you will be there and helping, whether it's sharing, whether it's posting, whether it's subscribing to patrons, all this kind of stuff. I know you guys will do what you can, and I really appreciate it. I really do. But the expanding knowledge, the exploring all of this stuff, even the crows, I would love to sit and go one-on-one live with someone where I go through the different ways that I use the crows and how I find answers in the cards and see if I'm on the right path with it all. And I'm just excited because I'm very passionate about the bevosphere stuff, right? And I'm very passionate about the surviving lifeosphere stuff. But it's very important that we have balance, guys. So when Members Night starts, Members Night is going to be a mix of community-driven fun and connecting on a more personal level with some of yous. And it's important that people who are able to financially support, there's nothing that they're going to gain over people who don't financially support, who are part of Discord. So there'll be nothing extra that will happen on Discord. No one will be left out, for example. And you'll probably find from time to time that, let's say that the Patreon content from the previous month, I may show that on Discord and do like a planned night where anyone who wants to see the uncut versions can, but do it in a way that's very fair, you know? Now, what do you think about SLS camera? Is that, hang on a second, Ron and his damn terminology. Is that the little green figure man camera? Dude, I have one of them. I have the Xbox 360 and the old school first generation camera and all the things that you need to connect it to a PC. I have it all. Okay. Now, incredible piece of equipment, but so easy to manipulate. Okay. So again, we're looking for intelligent responses. So if we've got a stick man sitting on a couch and we say stand up and the stick man stands up, and then we say sit down and the stick man sits down, and we say put one hand up and one hand out to the side and the stick man does that, intelligent response. But I could create you 150,000 fake stick men that sit there that's actually a cushion, right? So it's about, when I do my investigations, the top priority for me is giving everyone the ability to debunk everything. Because that's the mission I'm on. I want to debunk everything as we go along. Technologically, paranormally, whatever. It's so important that we understand that top of the list is disproving or finding a reason to disprove everything that we are discovering from my investigations. So what through that thing? Don't know, but I'm glad that everyone has the ability to break it down and be as confused as I am. So it's important that if you know if a piece of equipment's being misused or I'm using it wrong, you speak up. And I just love the thought of us as a community investigating this stuff. It's awesome, because I'll tell you this right now, I will run towards the scary noises. Okay. There's certain things that are factors that cause issues for me. So if I'm in an old haunted house where if I ran full pelt to get downstairs or to an escape route, there's a possibility of me falling through a floor. Nah, not for me. Wouldn't go there alone. No way. If it's anywhere with a high population of DRUG users or homeless, I wouldn't go there alone unless it's in a major population center like Edinburgh, where we go to this graveyard. You're going to see how crazy in the middle of civilization all this is. So I'm very, very cautious about the places that I go. But I'm very cautious about the people I take with me, because I will use you as a human shield. I'm not going to lie. Like, if it's a choice between you or me, you are my human shield and you are going to the frickin' shadow realm. Okay. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just saying, I'm just being honest. All right. So I like to investigate myself because I'll put myself in situations that I'm prepared to be in. And like, if Alan knows that someone's with me and something's attached himself to him, and then we're in a situation where it's you or me, Alan's going to be like, mate, listen, attachment already, just sleep at night. You'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? So there's certain sorts of investigations I would love to do with people. So for example, the vaults, I would love to do like a community vaults trip so that if any of you turn out to be complete lunatics, I've got a well-funded security team supplied by the professional company that gives the tours, right? You know? So, but there's lots of things I'd like to expand on doing. I really would. Yeah. She's not being a human shield. I'm just being honest with you. Like, I'm not being funny. This is so messed up, right? So, does anybody watch Matt's story about the werewolf, right? Do you remember the part where he was talking about his friend that was screaming uncontrollably? Like, was I the only one who was like, okay, so really, should I say this on the internet? Hi, Grandma. That's my mum. That is my wonderful mother right there. Iconic. That is me right there, aged about 5. Tiny Ron right there. Tiny Ron. You can't see me because my camera is not on, Mum. All right. So when the camera is on, this is the wonder of technology, Mum. Right. This is an overlay that you're this my face here. The overlay. You can see my face, Mum. Right. Everyone can see the overlay, right? Or am I just busting my chops of my mother here? For no reason. You all can see the picture on the screen of my face, right? Not the one with my name beside it, the big purple picture with Project Rooq vibrating text above the head. Yes, Ron. Thank you, Mara. I've got a trauma from the other day where the camera didn't work for the whole stream and no one thought to tell me. So yeah, that's fine, Mom. Don't worry. It's not finally kicked in. You're not seeing things. It's not finally happening. It's fine. I'm not a voice inside your head. All right. Everything's okay. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited about my interview that I've done with Danny, and the next part that's coming from that. And please, if you're invested in Ron as a person, please go and watch this, because that it's the sort of interview that someone like Danny or Beverly or someone from the trusted circles, I would only give an interview like that to somebody within those trusted circles. And again, it's not because I'm worried about what people are going to say or things like this, because we talk a lot about the three of us that makes up the one that you see in the physical world. And I never really talk about that. And the fascinating thing about it, where's the Matt video? The Matt video is... One moment, please. One of the mods might have to run and grab that for me. Hang on. Have we got a link here? Yes, we do. Don't worry about it, mods. I'll get it. What was I talking about? I can't remember. Danny interview something. I can't remember what else. Hang on. I'm looking for this link for you. There it is. This was one of my favorite interviews that I've done with Matt. Was the one with Matt. It was awesome. There we go. So, there we go. So, the interview that Danny done, it's awesome. It got to about 2.5 hours long. Oh, trusted people. That's right. Okay, yeah, but what was the trusted people about? That would only give an interview with trusted people. Yeah, it's awesome because I know her community is like our community, and it's a safe space and all the rest of it. But it wasn't like, oh, I feel safe, I'm going to open up. I drill home some points about myself. Okay, I correct Danny a couple of times where she talks about me being this white light person and all this kind of stuff, and it's lovely to romanticize, right? For some people that are they need that, right? Sure, everything I do is pretty positive. You could misconstrue me as a white light warrior or whatever. But I work in the gray. I am a mix of the two. I don't have attachments. I don't have the things that I talk about that make me me are the parts of me. There's the parts that are all good and there's the parts that are all bad. And I'm the overlap between the two. And balance is important. When I get too much love and too much white light, I become very susceptible to manipulation. I see the good too much in people. The glass is half full. I overlove. I overstretch with strangers, shall we say? And it's fascinating when you self-analyze the way that I do, and you see the data point entries in your own journey that create these. The Danny interview is going to be on her website, Danny's website. Let me just get you the direct link. You can actually go and hit notify me right now. But anyway, look, go watch the interview. It's going to be amazing. Oh, there's just so much. There's just so much. And luckily for me, Danny was kind enough to allow me to come back for a part 2, where we're going to be delving into the surviving life era and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really, really hoping, right? I know I was talking about something about the match story. I don't want to say it. But it's very much along the lines of you don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun one of your friends, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. Yeah. Shut up, Alan. So I'm very excited because Beverly and I work great together. Danny and I work great together. Ashley and I work great together. But it's like 3 completely different, and this is going to sound so stupid, people, because obviously everyone's an individual. But when we're talking about the specialist skill sets, right, that these people have, they're very different skill sets. You know what I mean? Correct, Ziza, correct. 100 million %. It's the people that aren't in touch with that side of themselves, Ziza, that I think still hold on to that perfection, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Or they're this belief in perfection. And see, when you're around a group of people that understand that when you have your bliss period, as I call it, so I might have 3 weeks where I wake up and the birds are chirping and the sun rays are coming through the window and everything's amazing. And then something will happen and I'll have an argument with someone and it will go on for 3 hours. And then that's the balance. Yeah. So you've got your happiness and then you have your day that gets ruined, and that's the balance. Okay. Embrace it. Okay. It doesn't mean you be a prick or anything like that. But I'm one of these people that if I'm the person who causes the issue, I would rather just put my hands up and be, oh, yeah, that was me. Apologies. How can I fix it? Let's move on. That is the greatest thing I can tell anyone. Even let's just say from a relationship point of view, from a relationship tips for guys from Ron. Okay. Learn how to eat humble pie. Okay. Learn how to identify when you are wrong to go, yep, I'm wrong. How can I fix it? Apologies. That's the way we do it. But it has to apply both ways. Okay. It has to apply both ways. And you have to learn to stick to your guns if maybe your partner isn't as quick to accept as fast as you do. Yes, my love. Yes, I'm literally wrapping up. I've got 8 minutes. So you can have my number if you want, or I can come through in 8 minutes. Okay. I appreciate that. I love you. Booful. It's so booful. So yeah. I can't even remember what the great advice was. Misinformation. Totally forgotten everything I was talking about. ADHD. It's amazing. The thoughts come, they go. Sometimes I don't even know where it comes from. But oh, hang on a minute. Now the phone's ringing. Oh, hang on a second. 1 second. Oh no, and she's gone. Oh well, never mind. I'm trying to set up another night with Julia to do a big Q&A. I think 13 episodes. I think you deserve a Q&A. So we'll see. And importantly, communicate with yourself. Oh, listen. Maru. That's what I'm going to abbreviate your name to, Maru, if that's all right. I am so. I'm going to try and say this because I'm uneducated and I'm going to sound really pompous. But I'm so confident in where I'm at being past the stage of having to worry about of the importance of communicating with myself or reflection and things like this. It's weird and it sounds pompous, but I don't know how else to say it. I'm very attuned with that right now. It is, I would say it is at the top of my attunedness currently is self-communication, self-analyzation, self-discovery, all of it. Oh, Linda just messaged John today. The last few times John and I have planned some stuff, the times have sort of changed and he's been in a car and all the rest. So I've been letting Nova get settled and I messaged him today and I will have some answers for you and the wonderful Mr. Wedger very soon. Those of you who need a Wedger fix, the wonderful Breaking the Ice, our very own Luke has an awesome interview with John Wedger going out, I do believe, tomorrow night. Make sure you are there for that. Maybe it's tonight. It might be tonight. I might have got that wrong. It might have been tonight. Go and check his channel, Breaking the Ice. So yeah. And you want to boil it down to like some Instagram post quotes. Love yourself. Respect yourself. If you don't love and respect yourself, how do you expect anyone else to? I don't care. I just care about loving myself. Okay. And then other people gravitate. Oh, Danny, I've been gassing everyone up, mate, about tomorrow. Like, there it is right there. I might make you a thumbnail for tomorrow night. I might make you a bunch of stuff, actually. Because it'll take me like 20 minutes and it'll just up the Danny game a little bit. Not that you need to up your game, but listen. If you had a car that needed sorted out and I was a mechanic, it's kind of like that vibes. You know what I'm saying? Leave the car outside, boom, fix it, dunzo, mates rates. No, not mates rates, but do it because you're mates. So yeah, 100%. All right, Danny Henderson, the interview tomorrow. I can't wait, and part 2 is going to be awesome. Danny, I'll be honest, I've been talking about you a lot today, and a lot of the things I've been touching on are going to hear the expanded version tomorrow. And I just want to say, while you're here, thank you for being the first person. I'm saying that I make that sound like, so for example, you're the first person who has done an interview with me like this, but you're also the first person on a short list of people that I would actually do an interview like that with, if you see what I mean. So I'm very grateful to have had that experience because you're a smart lady, gifted lady, and it's nice to be in that zone and have a conversation. And it's nice. It was nice. It was just nice. All right, deal with it. Put in your pipe and smoke it, metaphorically speaking. So yeah, well, listen, we've got about 4 minutes left. 3 of those I'm going to use to play the trailer for my new documentary. It is basically waiting on me polishing off the last 12 minutes, I think. And it will be out very, 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 very soon. I can't find it. There it is. So 3 minutes of this, and then we'll be back for a couple of minutes, and then that'll be the end of the show. Love you guys. Check out the trailer, and I'll be back in a minute.
So along this path, I grew up in the church. I ended up spending time to Catholic schools, Catholic churches, and stuff like that. And they have a prayer. The prayer is, Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners.
It just stopped playing at my end. Hang on a second.
So along this path, I grew up in the church. I ended up spending times at Catholic schools.
Does it just stop playing for everybody? Because it just stops playing for me. Does it continue playing, or does it just stop playing? Because maybe it's buffering, but I think that it stopped playing when it's actually buffering. So was it playing, or did it stop? Yeah, it stopped. Okay, we'll try one more time. Let me turn all this off and see if it's a bandwidthy shenanigan. Okay, one more time.
So along this path, I grew up in the church. I ended up spending times at Catholic schools, Catholic churches, and stuff like that. And they have a prayer. The prayer is, Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now unto the hour of our death. Amen. Now, one day, me and my partner ended up at a confession. And a brief conversation with the Father had them come out, sit us down. We ended up having some deep conversations. Now, one thing he conveyed to me was that he is a licensed exorcist from the Archdiocese. It's a short list of people.
Tenga stretto lei qui. No, benedetto Dio. Mandala via! Stupore del Dio, terrore conturba, el metus repili timoris exaltati, lentamente vanestano, nomine santi invocazione, santissimi nomina tua, guarda firme, cadere faulare, per Cristo, non paradiso, pendete su Cristi, la Maria nera, le messe nere, le messe nere, no, le messe nere.
So what people don't know is each exorcist has a team. Now on this team, he usually has a bodyguard, security, someone along those lines. So we ended up getting contracted to accompany him on one of his jobs, which was indeed for an exorcism. And I learned very fast that there is a spiritual realm. I learned very fast that demons do exist.
This is madness. This is
Yo, okay. Thank you all for being here. Let me just check that our wonderful, fearless. Oh no, Mr. Atwood has not started his TikTok Diddy latest shocking news stream. So I will just hang back. I just want to double check that you guys are set to push over there as well. One moment, my lovely, lovely people. Apologies about the thumbnail today as well. It will be updated each day with more relevant show content. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this will push you over to Sean's live, but I'm going to wait until Sean is actually live before I end my show. So you guys will be able to catch up with some more Diddy news. A big shout out to Tommy. Thank you so much for jumping on today. The mods, thank you. Yeah, should I wait? Yeah, wait with Patreon. It's all coming, right? It's all coming. I'd rather everything was in place so you get new things for your money. Because at the moment, like I say, it's not been updated since 2019, and it's very much like you will get nothing. So yeah. So I don't know. Ask me some questions. We're just going to sit here in silence unless you ask me something. Sean needs to get on his live so I can go and take over Little Nova as well. The pressure's on. Yes, he's live. My G. Thank you, Mr. Atwood. Thank you to the community, to the mods, to all of you. Thank you all. Ron, we need to touch base on a paranormal situation. Now, Ron wants to learn how to like fire mind bullets at these people. That's my next step. Anyway, love you guys. See you in the next one.